Hey everyone, it's Julian, and we're here for the Day 2 card reveals for the second set of Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. We have a lot of fun cards to talk about today, and let's just get right into it. We do have one more card that hasn't been revealed yet, but I'm going to edit that onto this part of the video if I stay up long enough, because it is kind of late. So, yeah, let's get into it. Prim Gold, 2-drop 1/1 Swordcraft follower. Prim is an old ROB character, and she got a card in Shadowverse Original a long time ago, and she's one of the princesses of that game. On play, she's a 2-drop 1/1 with Ambush. On play, she's going to add a non-just Silent Maid to your hand. And then on Super Evolve, she's going to give all other allied followers +1/+1. So let's take a look at the Nanja, and then we'll kind of talk about this card as a whole. Nanja is a 2-drop 2/2 officer follower token with ward, and then on play, if an allied Prim is in play, gain +1/+1 and Bane. So if you go second, you can extra play point, play Prim, and you'll get a free 2-drop in your, not free, but you'll get a 2-drop into your hand, and then you'll play this, and it's a 3/3 with ward and Bane. Really, really strong, of course, going second. And going first, it's just a 2-drop that fuels your hand again, which is something Sword needs, because a lot of its card draw is late game. A lot of its card draw is Amelia and Olivia, right? So having cards that give you extra resources is very strong. Think about a very kind of niche example, but think about the Vigilant Detective in Aggro Dragon. That card is a fully statted 3-drop, but it gives you a resource in hand to use for all of your discard stuff and other things. And of course, it has applications in the late game as well of removing ward and stuff. But think about that, but it's like you get an actual good card. The interesting thing about this is the Prim is a little weak on its base body. It's a 2-drop 1/1 ambush. Of course, you can combine that with cards like Zirconian stuff in the late game, or not in the late game, but later on in the early game, because you can just play her down, and you just don't ever unstealth her, and then you can Evo and get a, basically free 2/2 kind of, and you're basically playing this for the Nanja, right? So overall, I think this is a really strong 2-drop. I think it's just a nice addition to that arsenal of 2-drops. 2-drops, of course, are very important in this game right now because of the way the extra play point works and just the way the game is functioning. And I like adding a card that's like a 2-drop that gives you an extra play, and the extra play is really strong. The extra play is arguably stronger than the base card. So yeah, obviously in the late game, this is going to be a little weaker, but it's still okay, right? Because it's, it's like you can just have Amelia and this, and then you can make a pretty good board with that. And yeah, I think this is going to be an easy slot in to one of the 2-drop slots. And I think it's just a good card. I'm also like pretty excited to see her in the game. So next card is Guidance of the Flower Garden. This card just got revealed, but I think this is an absurdly strong card. 2-drop gold spell, or 2-drop gold force spell. Fusion force card, so you can fuse force cards into it. And that's any force card. That's not followers, that's not spells, that's any force card. That includes fairies and stuff like that. Any of your tokens and stuff you generate, right? On play, draw a card. If this card is fused with at least one card, draw 2 instead. This was the one class that did not need a card like this. Literally any other class getting a card that was worded exactly like this, except for its class, right, would have been amazing. I'm very disappointed that they were like, you know what Forest needs is more consistency and more ways to get to Roach. I don't like that. I really don't like that. We'll talk about another Force card in a second here that I'm very excited for. But my worry when I saw this card was like, oh man, we are just like really pushing back into Roach, and we're not going to have a lot of movement around in the Force class. And this card is just really pushed. This is an absurd card. It's really, really broken. I honestly, it might be like the best card in the game. because it's support for one of the best classes in the game already, and it's extra draw, which is always good, and it's like kind of free draw because you can just fuse fairies and stuff you don't need or stuff you generated, right, into this, and you just get free value. Really strong card. A really, really strong card. This is just going to see play in every Force deck pretty much ever. The fact that there's like no restriction on it, it's just fuse Force cards. Really nuts. This card is really, 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 really absurd. Really not happy that like Roach is getting even more support because I really want Roach can stay and I don't have anything against Roach. But it's just I don't like when a class is so set on a build of the deck like that, right? But let's talk about a very exciting card next. Titania, Queen of Wings. I don't know if that translation is right, but Titania, of course, was leaked as the leader. Titania is an interesting character because she's only had one art from ROB and then one art with Lily from ROB, and then that was it. This is brand new art from Ponzu, of course, the GOAT. He is working his ass off right now. But let's talk about the card. 4-drop 2/2, Legendary Force Follower. On play, summon a fairy. And then gain crest, Titania, Queen of Wings. And then the crest is at the start of your turn, add a fairy to your hand. And then on evolve, transform an enemy fairy into, an enemy follower into a fairy. So this is a lot. Let's break this down a little bit. So on play, she's going to be a 2/2 that summons a 1/1 rush because the fairies are rush, right? And then you're going to gain a crest that gives you a fairy every turn into your hand. So that plays, of course, very well into the spell we just talked about, right? Being able to get free cards to just fuse into this and draw more cards, right? It's really strong. It's also going to help cards like Arya, right? Because Arya gives all of your fairies Storm, and then you're just going to have an abundance of fairies at that point. You're going to be able to like play them out and swing and stuff. It's going to help other cards that need combo stuff, like of course Roach, but even just cards like Lily and Blessed Fairy Dancer. Faye Twinkletoes. Just having more cards, like access to cheap cards to play down for your combo stuff, really good. Really like that. And I like that she has a removal Evo because obviously her stats are very low. But she is going to be able to go Evo something, transform something into a fairy, swing your fairy into that fairy, and then swings over something with her 4/4 body. Interesting thing to know, right? Transforming an enemy follower into a fairy removes like its effects. So like if it has a last words, Wilbert, right? Wilbert just got revealed and he has like a really relevant last words effect. Bye-bye, you're a fairy now. Really love this card. I'm really hoping this gets us into sort of a mid-range forest deck. Obviously, this can play well into the Rose Queen. I still think Rose Queen has issues with like it coming down too late. I don't think Rose Queen's issue has ever been having the 1-drops in hand. It's been being able to play it and not super lose tempo, right? Yeah, very excited for this card. I'm very, very, very excited for this card. Love the art. Love that they kind of brought back an old character and kind of revamped her, right? So last card we have, not last card because we do have a card coming out in 20 minutes, but last card right now. Dragon Soul Strike. 6 play point gold dragon spell. Subtract 2 from the cost of a card in your hand. And since it doesn't say random, I'm assuming you can choose. And then it deals 3 damage to all enemy followers. Immediate thoughts is like, whoa, this card is insane. But when you think about it more, I don't think it's that good. 3 damage AoE that late is not that good. Obviously, I say that late, but it's like you're hopefully ramping once or twice maybe. I think the issue with this card is just there's not a lot of stuff that you want to do 3 AoE. Now, you could sort of combo this card with like in the late game once you're at like 10. If you're looking at like a sword board, you could go like play this, make some 6-cost card a 4-cost, and then play that as well. But I think the issue with this is the tempo loss is a little too much. There's already a Haven card that is in the game right now. That's 6-drop, deal 3 damage to all enemy follows and summon a 2/2 storm. And that is like on the side, right? So yeah, I don't think this card is very good. It's cute, it's interesting. It is one of those cards that's like, if this card is ever like good, something's wrong, right? That means we have a crazy combo and stuff like that. You can kind of think of this as like a weirdly ramp card, right? Because it's like 6 play points, and then you sort of ramp a card in your hand by 2. So that's kind of interesting. Immediate, like things to think about is playing this and then playing Twilight Dragon. Playing this and then playing Cocytus the next turn. Or the turn after the next turn, right? Or if you're going second and you can, extra play point because it'll be 8. So stuff like that. If you have those type of cards in hand, even this into Garu the next turn, and you have 1 play point to work with, is pretty strong too. I think the issue is just, are you going to be able to, or like, will boards exist that are all 3 or below, and that you're fine like taking a huge tempo loss to like ramp ahead, which maybe you are, maybe you are, and yeah, it's an interesting card. I think a lot of people are going to mess around with it, and I think it is worth trying, but right now I'm a little skeptical of it. But we do have to see like what sort of dragon is cooking outside Feline. Feline is insane, right? Feline's insane, but like, where are we going with the other legendary and stuff like that? So yeah, all right, I will be right back with the next new card or cards. All right, we got the last couple cards. We're gonna start with the like whatever one, because the last one is nuts and we got to talk about it a little bit. But here's a rune, 2 play point gold spell, Pascal's Dance. Pascal is a character that's come back several times. It's unfortunate that like almost all of her cards have been pretty bad, and this one is kind of no exception. Gain an Earth Sigil, gain Crest, Pascal's Dance. Crest countdown 1. At the end of your turn, draw a card. Earthright 10. Double all allied followers' attack and defense. So basically, this is a 2 play point, gain a stack, draw a card, right? And then it's sort of a weird like win condition at the end of the game when you get to 10 Earthrights to double everything on your field. The issue with Pascal's effects, because this is just a very common Pascal effect, she just doubles stats. But the issue with her is it's almost always at the end of turn. So you're never able to capitalize on the fact that you just doubled all your stats because, like we've already seen, like things get cleared very easily. Obviously, they want you to use this with the new 8 play point Little Anthem to be able to go play her on 8. And then she, never dies, and then you get a bunch of Earthrights and double her. But that's literally like a 3-turn plan, and it's not even like an OTK, because it's doubles to 10, basically, unless you Super Evolve. And it also can be interrupted, because they could just go, oh, Bane, see you later, back to 5, right? Also, that's assuming you even have Earthright, you have extra Earthrights after the 10 you just ate to double everything. So I think this card is awful. I think this card is really bad. The cooked thing would be if this sees play in Spell Boost. It is a spell. It does draw. Do not want to see that. I don't think it would see play. Like, just, but this card sucks. Really sad about Earthright, to be honest. 2, like, pretty rough cards. What isn't a rough card is Urius Levin Transcender. This is going to change the game. This card is nuts. 8-drop 5/7. Fanfare summon 2 enemy knights. So 2 1/1s for your opponent. Whenever an enemy follower comes into play, so that's very important. It's not played, but comes into play. So like anything that, summons a bunch of things, right? This will happen. Give it the following effect. It can't attack until the end of your turn. Deal 1 damage to the enemy leader, and restore 1 defense to your leader. So, Urius, going to come down, 8 mana, 5/7. Summon 2 knights for your opponent. You're going to deal 2 damage to your opponent, and you're going to heal 2. And then anytime they play something, it gets locked. And anytime a thing comes into play, it gets locked, and you heal one and they take one. I mean, you can just imagine everything about. I mean, this, like Orcus. Who is Orcus? I mean, Orcus doesn't even exist anymore. Completely hoses Orcus. Like Orcus comes down, she can't attack. None of the puppets can attack. Yeah, I mean, this card is broken. This card is completely broken. Yeah, really, just like doesn't read like a sword card. It kind of reminds me of not a little bit because not summon things for your opponents. And then you got value from that. But this card is absurd. This card is really, really, really broken. And this card is going to be super toxic in the mirror match, right? Because, you're going to play it down. Whoever plays it down first, like, basically wins the game. You're probably going to have to play some sort of, removal. You're probably, you have fill down stuff too, but you're going to definitely need, like a Divine Thunder or some sort of removal. Now, wait, no. So how would Odin work? I think Odin would banish it first, and then Odin would be fine, right? So Odin is really strong against this card. But yeah, this is going to be strong against a lot of the strong decks right now, right? Think Artifact Portal. Well, I'll take the Artifact Portal does have hard removal, but think like Puppets. Think Orcus in general, right? Like you play this on the Orcus turn, and then they can't Orcus. And then it really good against Roach. I mean, insane against Roach. This card is absurd against Roach. And Sword, it's really good in the mirror match, right? And then Runecraft, it's pretty good against 2. Obviously, they could just have the Wind Blast, but you can play this on 10 or going into their turn 10 and kind of stop a Cocytus coming down killing you with the 10 cost, or the like on 10 this card is really insane against Runecraft. And on specific turns where what they're gonna play out, right? Yeah, I mean this card is really, really, really nuts. I'm glad I stayed up. I love Urius. If you guys checked my live stream from a couple days ago now, you'll know that Urius is my favorite blood card of all time. And yeah, I'm happy he's in his home Swordcraft. So very excited. We'll have to think and talk about this card some more. I think this is one of the most meta-changing cards right now, I would say. And yeah, Sword is looking very good. It's gotten 3 very strong cards so far. And yeah, all right. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.